Hello everyone and welcome. This is the second video in the series where I teach you about how to build intelligent smart contracts in Python on GenLayer. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up GenLayer code editor locally on your system, how to use the online code editor, and just a brief run through of the Studio network and the Asimov network, and then I'll just round up by explaining some things. So first, what you are going to do is to set up the local instance of GenLayer. So this requires that you have Docker installed. If you don't have Docker installed, I recommend you go to docker.com and install Docker for your distribution. Secondly, you have to install Node.js, which is very ironic considering that you're installing Node so you can make your Python scripts work. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to run the command that will install GenLayer CLI for us. So this is after installing npm. Now I already have GenLayer installed, so I'm just going to run the command and then cancel it so I won't override what I have set already. So this is the command npm-g npm install -g GenLayer. So this command installs GenLayer. Next, when it's done installing, if you notice, I just cancelled my own install. You run GenLayer init. Now and again, I'm still going to cancel this one command. This is to initialize the GenLayer environment because I've already done that. And during this initialization, you'll be asked to select your preferred LLM provider and their required API keys. In my scenario, I made use of Gemini API. So you can choose to do what you want, but I'm going to run it again and I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to override. Now, when you're done with everything, the final command you're going to run is the GenLayer up. So this starts up GenLayer Studio using your existing configuration, and you can access it at this port here, which is localhost 8080. Yeah, it's currently running. That's after you run GenLayer up. Now, if for whatever scenario this command fails, this is most likely because you don't have Docker running. So just quickly start up Docker before you proceed to run said command. Docker is going to take its time to load, but yes. So this is just a brief setup. Now these commands all have their respective parameters, but I don't see that as necessary. Like if you just work with these basic commands, I think you're good. Now the next thing is if you don't want to do all that and run all this in your local environment, which is you might find stressful, you can just go to studio.genlayer.com and this automatically loads everything for you. Now I'm going to give you a quick briefing of this studio environment. There's a tutorial here too, but we are going to skip the tutorial. So first things, there are two networks currently based on my research. There is the Asimov network, which is what's connected to the MetaMask currently. And there is the Studio network, which is, I think, the network that runs with the instance of the studio. So every transaction you run in this network is on this studio environment, is run against the Studio network. So to avoid some kind of noise, I am going to disable RPC responses from this terminal. And I'm also going to disable the consensus noise, like the consensus information from this terminal too, because if you leave them on, they end up getting spammed with a lot of, like, you see what I mean, a lot of responses. So I'm just going to quickly disable both of them and then leave only the GenVM, which is important, and the contracts, which is important for us. Next, you can see this is where we create the files. You see hello world.py, which is ends in Python, like it's a Python extension, so it's a Python file. You can see where you deploy and run the file that you just created, and when you deploy it, it gives you like inputs to pass in. So that too. Yeah, but I'm not gonna do that now, so cancel. Then you can see the validators that are currently validating the transaction. These are LLMs, I think, or validators connected to LLMs. So aside from that, I don't think there's anything much. You can also connect this to your MetaMask, or you can use the default one given to you by the studio network, anyone that serves you best. So yeah, don't think there is anything more. So in the next video, I'll just give you a brief overview of the contract structure and how it works. Thank you.